Hello, my loves. If you are a woman who is so done feeling unconfident, insecure, unsure in your own self-image, if you've gone through really intense relationships in the past and you've come to a point where you actually want to fully claim your own turn on, you want to be the woman who walks into the room where people turn their heads, where you feel in your power, where you know exactly who the fuck you are and you show up in that energy, and you are done being in relationships that drain you and you're actually ready to really cultivate a deep, loving, intimate connection with yourself so that you can have that kind of relationship with your future partner, this video is for you. We're going to be inviting in a beautiful sister, Annie. He's going to be sharing her journey of where she started and where she is now and how she's actually been able to move through some of the deepest, darkest traumas of a breakup and just losing herself in that relationship to now being in such a profound space of self-awareness. So if this resonates with you, stick around, listen into her story. It's going to be great. Okay, my loves, we are welcoming in our beautiful Annie. Annie, please introduce yourself. Just share a little bit about where you are, what you do, a bit about yourself.
Okay, hi ladies watching. So I'm Annie. I'm turning 35. Ooh, scary one. But I'm from South Africa and I basically work remotely from home in the imports exports business. Love my job. And yeah, I'm a summer baby. I love summer and I love just being outdoors and yeah, I've enjoyed really being in the circle.
Oh, baby, I love it. And also, I love that we have South African girls in this space. Like when I first heard, I was like, can I ever have fellow Sapphies? And it's like, yes, come in, baby. But let's dive us in. Let's get kind of straight to it. So I want you to take a moment to kind of reverse yourself back to when you first reached out to me and joined into SEM. Where were you in your life in connection with like your body, in your relationship status, in like your mental, emotional state? What was coming up for you during that time?
So when I think back, I obviously was seeing, because we're friends from way back, I obviously had you on Instagram and I was seeing your posts and things. But when I really decided to reach out to you, I feel like I was in quite a victimized mindset if I look back now. I felt like things were happening to me, like why me, why me? There were a lot of big changes and shifts in my life at that time. Um, I was unsure of myself, my self-worth, just because I'd come out of a not so serious relationship. It was kind of a bit of a rebound relationship from my very long 11-year relationship where I was engaged. So I was in a bit of a weird place, not sure of who I was. Um, I had some personal stuff with my family going on as well. Um, and it was a place for me where I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. I'd been to therapy before. Um, and, you know, my ex had passed away and I was dealing with a lot of grief. I was dealing with family betrayal. And I was honestly in this like, why does this stuff keep happening to me? Whenever I would see my friends, they would say, oh, okay, what's the new thing? Because there was always a new drama in my life. There was always, I always used to say, my life is like a soapy. Because every time I saw them, there was a new update, a new thing that happened. And these were big things that were happening. It wasn't just minor inconveniences. And I think I was just looking for a change. I think I was seeking external validation all the time as well. Um, so I wanted to get to a place where I was comfortable in myself. I wanted to be this magnetic, radiant woman that you that you talk about. So that's kind of what drew me to you and the place that I was in at that time.
Well, firstly, thank you for sharing. And I remember when you first reached out and you were just like, it was like crazy the amount of stuff that happened just from like such a long-term relationship and that falling apart and then him passing. then the
Mm.
rebound relationship, and then all the family stuff. And it was like so much. Something I'm curious about was like, how did you feel that was affecting your like confidence and your self-esteem and even like your own like sex energy? How did that have an impact for you?
Well, I was feeling super low. My confidence was very low as well. I felt um, like I always spoke to you about like feeling weak. Like people could take advantage of me, that I couldn't stand up for myself. I mean, it was getting to a point where if I did walk into a room or like with a bunch of people, I was always thinking about what they were thinking about me. Um, because things failed with my ex, I took that, even though it was my choice to end it, I took it personally, because it was a failure. And then with my last relationship as well, with him walking away, and then also um, being with my sister, it was a feeling of like, okay, she's better than me. Someone's better than me. There must be something wrong with me. So my self-esteem and my self-worth was very, very low. And it was actually at that point where it was like not even going for counseling was helping me, because I wasn't learning how to be myself and stronger myself. I was just talking about the same problems over again, just in a different way. So
Yeah.
it was, I think it was like the lowest of the low, to be honest.
Wow. And also something that I always feel like it's so important because so many women don't share so vulnerably about like where they're at, and like thank you for sharing, because these aspects, right, like even if you've left a relationship that you knew was wrong for you, like the carrying the weight that it failed as a woman
Mm.
crushes you. Like the relationship that happened then with your ex and your sister, and just that effect, right, it's like so intense for a woman to like go through those and then carry on with your life and like try to carry on showing up. And I'm curious to know like how you feel that really affected you like day to day. What was like the biggest things that you found? I mean, did you feel, I always say like when we're like talking about like orgasmic and confident and juicy and all the rest, like did you feel that that aspect of you even had space in your life, or was that something that had just like completely been shut down for you?
To be honest with you, I never really thought of like my orgasmic self, to be honest with you. I never even thought of that as a concept, you know. For me, it was you have a partner, there's an act, there's love. That's kind of it. And, you know, if I didn't have someone in my life, then that kind of part was kind of non-existent, to be honest. And on my day to day, I always was ruminating about what was not right in my life, what was going wrong. And like I said, just a complete victim mindset. And obviously, when your mind is spiraling constantly and you're constantly talking about what's wrong with people in your lives, I could hear myself just constantly talking about the new drama or the new thing that was happening. You get stuck in that, you forget about other aspects of your life. I forgot about me. I let myself go. You know, I didn't, no self-care, you know, there was no, I feel like I was losing my ambition as well. I was just going to work, doing what I needed to do. My day to day, I mean, I wasn't going and exercising. I stopped slowly, like, you know, I was walking my dog just to walk the dog, not to enjoy the sunset, if that makes sense. So it was just getting through. And obviously dealing with the grief of my ex-fiancé passing away. I just, if I spent the whole day in my pajamas, that was basically my day. It was actually at the point where I was nervous that I was reaching a point of depression, because there was just no motivation really to do anything on my day to day.
Wow. Also, like, I feel like always emotional because I also just love you so much. And I'm like, oh, my baby. But like, it's so, it hits me a lot. Like, women, especially for some reason in our like 30s and mid 30s, we get hit sometimes
Mm.
with these huge whammies. And then we should be in the prime of our lives where we're like
Yeah.
so sexy, fun, vibey, finding ourselves. I always say like your own sexual flavor, but we're literally sitting there like trying to get just through the day. Like there's no juice, there's no joy de vivre, there's no anything, and there's a weight that is just completely crippling us from our capacity, like any level of our capacity, to the point where, like you said, like going into a room, it's just like small creativity is not there. It's just a lost
Mhm.
experience. I'm kind of curious now that we kind of know where you were at when we began. Obviously, you've gone through a bit of a process and we've had some things and flows. Where are you now? Like, what is happening in your life? Practical, emotional, sexual? Hit us. Like, what's come up for you in the last couple months of being together?
So it's quite interesting because obviously I chose to go into this process, but obviously I was like, like, oh, try it. Let's see what happens, But to be honest with you, I'm not even just saying that. I can feel just in the way that I think about things, I feel so much better. I was actually telling my best friend last week. It's so weird. I was just having a shower and this thought occurred to me that I'm starting to feel happy. And it's such a weird like concept for me to say that because like, oh, why wouldn't you feel happy? But like for the last 3 years, I don't remember feeling like just like an excitement and a joy for like what's still coming. Um, and I can actually say I wake up and the spark is back. And people have noticed because you kind of want to. I told a few select people that I was going through this process and this journey, um, and I didn't want to, make too much of a big deal of it. But the people that know have said to me that they can absolutely see a huge difference. Um, and how I feel now is when I wake up, it's a new day. I feel good. I feel positive. There's been some major shifts and changes that have happened during this process, and the way that I've handled them is so much different to how I always say like the old Annie would have handled it because I feel like a new me. So I refer to that as old Annie. And these big things like people from the past reaching out or like people crossing my path or like new dramas with the same old energies that I've been able to kind of like release that, like kind of treat that with a bit more distance and not let it affect me. Um, does that feel like a more sense of like emotional maturity as well? Um, I think in the past, if somebody hurt me, I would backlash with even just more hurt because hurt people is what they say. And I feel like people can try and hurt me, but I feel so much stronger and within myself now that I don't feel offended. I don't take things personally. I understand other people better as well. Um, I understand myself better. So I know when people are reacting a certain way, it's not about me, it's more about them. So it's just perspective change that has like been a huge game changer for me. I could honestly just ramble on.
But I love it too because I'm like, it's
There's
been
so
so
much
beautiful. It's like the best watching you go through the process and being like, I know when I started my journey too, I was like the most skeptical person ever. I was like, let's see how we go, but like nothing's gonna get me through what I've been through,
yes.
friends. Like, but it's that journey of like finding yourself, of tuning in, of having conversations and like seeing patterns repeat. I always say this to everyone. I'm like, we are patterned beings. Like the universe will do
Mhm.
that, but our response changes the outcome. And I love what you shared about just feeling like your spark coming back and like being in the shower and like, oh, I remember when I had those moments too, and I was like, oh damn, like this is it.
You.
Um, but yeah, talk to me a bit about like the impact of that spark. How's your like confidence doing? How's your general like dating yourself, that aspect? Like how's that been feeling for you in your life now from where it was previously?
So the spark has created a bit of like an ambition in me, to be honest with you. So during this process, my friend and I just decided to start like our own little business. So it's created my mind of like what the possibilities for the future are as well. Where I was kind of like stagnant and kind of going through the day. Um, I feel like with dating, it's also given me a whole new perspective. I've realized just this short amount of time working on myself, how much growth there's been and how much potential growth there's still to go because we're changing and growing all the time. It's not a quick fix. So because that's happened, I actually just want to continue just working on me. Um,
It's such an important part of the process.
but I feel like the potential, and that's what I'm excited about, is like the potential of myself. Um, and like before, I was like, okay, cool, this is going to make me magnetic and radiant, and I'm going to draw in this like amazing man. This, you speak of this high value person. And like I shared with you before, like I realized I cannot draw that person in if I'm not a high value woman. And I want to be a woman that can match the energy of the kind of man that I want to draw in. And not saying that I'm that person now, but I'm actually enjoying just this process of myself, like the becoming of who I am, or just like really just revealing who I really am. Because I feel like I've been made small for such a long time that I actually forgot that I actually do have this personality. I'm not as reserved as I kind of made myself to think. Um, so before this whole process, I was looking for external validation. I was looking for a man. I mean, I remember, like I said to you, I would be driving and then I'd see a guy that'd be like, what if that is the person, or what if that is the person? I'm constantly seeking and trying to make eye contact, and somehow this miracle man is going to pop up. I was looking for it. And now I feel like it's not even really a thought that crosses my mind too much, because I know that that person's just going to naturally come into my life when it is the right moment, and probably when I'm least expecting it, and when I'm probably the happiest I've been. And that is I'm so content with that now. I'm actually so happy with my life and what I'm doing. And I feel like that's kind of the road that I want to stay on. And the whole celibacy thing, I've got that down like a piece of cake. I'm not, I'm so happy and in tune now with my body as well. That's also something that I didn't even realize. I didn't even know that much about my body before this process.
Is
And it's learning and loving myself first. And that's my main priority now. So the men can kick it for now, but I feel like
I
that
love it.
time will come.
I always say like it's such an important part of the process. Like so many women are blocking love, intimacy, like the most orgasmic part of themselves because you're outsourcing. And like when you start insourcing, and I always say, like, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what you've been through, like dating yourself, like waxing your, like getting into that state is the game changer. And quite frankly, when you're there, and that was my journey too, I was like, I could do this shit for some time. And quite frankly, I'm like, singledom is the most important time of a woman's life because your husband is alive. Like, if you want a
Mm.
husband and you believe you have a husband, he is walking this earth. Like, he's breathing God's good air. He's out there. We want to be in a state where, like, oh, I can fully, fully receive that because I'm so in my zone. Like, I'm in that energy. So I love this for you. And I'm also curious, what were some of the things that we did inside the space that really helped you kind of get into this space and place in your life?
So I'd say one of the first big things, which I was thinking of doing anyway before, was coming off the pill. I feel like that was a huge game changer. Actually, I just feel lighter, to be honest with you. I feel more in touch with my body. It's actually made me, because my body's still regulating, it's taking its time, but I can feel the changes in my skin, in my mood. Just I feel more natural. So for me, that was already just the first game changer for me. Um, Another thing that I really could take away from this was the sense of community with other girls, not feeling so alone. Everyone's going through, it's that perspective of everyone's going through something. You tend to become so stuck in your own bubble that you think, oh, this is what's happening to me. I'm the only one. But there's other things happening to other girls. And honestly, having that sense of community and hearing from the other girls and having that space to share was also really, really important to me. Um, the practices, love, all of them. Integrating that into my day and realizing to make time for yourself. You always think, oh, I don't have time to do that, don't have time to do that. But if you could make time for, like you say, when you have a man one day, you're going to be spending time with him. So why not spend time with yourself? So integrating those practices into my daily has been amazing. All of them. I can't say there's one practice I don't enjoy. I enjoy all of them. And then the personality test, I don't know why that was a huge one for me
Every
as well.
upholder.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you're an
When
upholder, then
people,
I'm gonna be like,
yeah,
like,
it's so part of my listy, categorized, know myself thing. I made everybody that I know that's close to me do it. And I made sure, obviously that's my personality. Like I've sent you this link, whole thing, explained it, everything, everyone's done it. So that was big for me as well, because just understanding how people interact with each other is honestly like made me dealing with certain situations and certain people, realizing how I react, how they would, and then kind of just working with that balance is communication. Such a big deal, huge. So that has really helped me so much.
I also love it because I'm like, when we start our journey and we're like just in such a dark hole, and a lot of women are, and it's like there is always a light and you see other people in it, but then like, what the fuck do we do to get to that point? And I'm like, yes, like there are so many practices, right? And I always feel like with Sam, like my heart when creating it was I know what I went through feeling like I was really alone and like having other women just being with you in the thick of it, in the highs and the lows, like also going through it, plus
Yeah,
going through like a really deep method. Like, and I love it. Like, we go into the practices and they're there to like build you in, but also to give you the skills. Like, my favorite part of STEM is also to know yourself because I'm like, I know everyone's like it makes you confident though. Like, if you're
yeah.
like, I'm not confident, I couldn't do. I'm like, when you
It
know
brings
yourself,
self-awareness. Like, yeah, when you're self-aware, you can like build up on yourself. If you're not sure of how you'd react or why you like the understanding of why you do certain things is a big deal. Because you can blame yourself or wonder why am I so different to somebody else? But people are different, and it's a big mind-blowing situation.
it shifts for me. It shifted so much too, even like forgiving other people in my past, like moving on from
Yes.
my ex. I know we have a similar pattern of holders with our rebels, but like
Mhm.
moving on, like forgiving people for how they've been, for me forgiving my
Yeah.
mom, my sister, like understanding like, oh my god, I'm so different to them, and now I can actually just let that weight off me because I know how to. There's something to work with that I can, like, I get it, and it's over. And you get that, like you said, the old Annie versus then like this, like, I got myself.
Yeah. I would say like if I would just give myself like a word from this, it would honestly be just like a sense of peace. Like that's like I can really take that away, because I can admit that I was like really angry and tense and ruminating and just sitting in this like victim mindset. I actually just feel like I can breathe. And for me, like that I can actually feel emotional just saying that, because of everything that's happened. Like just being able to be like, it's okay. Is a big win for me, to be honest with you. It's major.
Oh, oh, I know. I'm like, why do I do these calls when I'm little? But it's like, and when a woman is in a state of peace, right? And that's like, you get to a state, especially as women, when your like nervous system, your body, your hormones, like so many things. Ah, that's what takes us to our truth. And then your body, like your yoni knows like what she wants, when she wants it, how she wants it. And you're then in a state of power, like you're in your power seat again. And then you get to kind of choose what you want, when you want, how you want, which I always think is like the sexiest thing when you see a woman who's like, this is what I want. Like, hmm.
Yeah, it's empowering.
Yeah.
It's like that's you feel completely empowered, because if you're in your state of peace and self-awareness and you know who you are, then kind of the world is your oyster in that regard. And that was also like a huge thing for me, because I can be a bit of a people pleaser and wanted to make everyone else happy, but I forgot about myself as well. And now I'm starting to find that perfect balance, of like I'm important too. Um, so it's huge.
Let me ask you this. Was there anything that like nearly prevented you from joining in the first place?
Um, to be honest with you, like I knew we were going to have group calls and being in a space with other people. The vulnerability part, funny enough, it like it actually just started oozing out of me. I'm free to share, but I didn't think that I would want to be so open within a group about my experiences and things. But it actually just was really easy. So I wasn't sure about, how that process would work, and if I'd feel comfortable enough to actually just like dive 2 feet in. And
Mm.
then also, I mean, can't ignore the financial part of it was also maybe like, oh, because you don't know what you're going to get yourself into and is it even worth it? But honestly, and I'm not even just saying, I'm super, super glad that, investing in yourself is like one of the best things you can do. And if you're not investing in yourself, what else are you actually investing in? Because you only get one freaking life. So why not just do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I think those were probably the only two things that I was, you know, like I said, I always thought of myself as a reserved person, but I think I get verbal diarrhea, especially when I'm excited.
But it's also really beautiful because I feel like it's such a poignant thing for women. Like I love asking that question because most women who are sitting on the fence are gonna have something that's like, and those are two huge ones, right? Like one,
Yeah.
vulnerability in front of women. Most of us have a sister wound, or most of us are just shy, or we have these like beliefs, right? Like if we're stuck in
Mhm.
intimacy or we're stuck in dating, like it's usually a belief about ourselves. And then like having that open is a huge one. And so it's beautiful to hear where you were and also how it like just effortlessly unfolded for you in
Mhm.
this space. And finances are huge, right? Like on multiple reasons, like practical, but also just the emotional aspect of it. It's investing into yourself. And a lot of us, it's like a
Exactly.
self-worth block that's like, oh,
Exactly. Like why, like, why would you? People would rather spend that amount of money, buying something, that would make you feel better. But the physical thing, you can maybe see it, but the investment within yourself, like honestly, I highly recommend. Like honestly, I just want to keep doing it. It's actually a bit of an addictive feeling to just feel yourself. It's like, let me give an example, like going to the gym. You don't see the difference in the beginning, but then you start to feel it, and then after a while, other people start to notice it too. So it's kind of like that. Like it's a slow progress, but you can feel it after a while, and then other people just start to notice there's something different about you, and then you just want to keep doing it because you're just feeling so fucking amazing. So
I love the best example ever of like, but it's true. I'm like, speaking to the choir here, but for anyone who's listening, like, listen with two ears because it is a thing. It's like starting something that's a bit intense, but then going through it, and then it starts to have that positive ripple effect. Something I'm curious about is like, what made you actually then take the leap? If like finances and being vulnerable were things that were very like contracting, what was it that just made you be like, okay, fuck it, like I'm in?
um, I'd say the turning point was so we had our kind of our call to chat about everything, and I said, okay, cool, let me think about it. And then I was like, oh gosh, maybe I've gone too far with the situation. Now I have to do it. And I thought about it for a while, and I was like, honestly, it was what is the alternative? I can keep on going the way I'm going now and kind of ride out the wave, or I can just try something new. It was that of like just do something different. Like I said, I tried the conventional therapy, and there's nothing wrong with it. I also studied psychology as well. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I think for the space that I was in, that kind of conventional therapy wasn't going to do anything with what was actually blocking me and what was actually having an issue. And I think that actual turning point was, especially knowing you, was also a big deal. There's that trust.
Yeah.
um, I was just at like I said, the lowest of the low. There was nothing else to try but just to try something brand new. And my mom is my absolute best friend, and I spoke to her about it, and she's like, you know what? I know that deep down inside of you is Annie that's just looking to just, break free again. And she said, just do it. Just jump 2 feet in. And if it doesn't work, what it was an experience. But if it does, wow. And that's the kind of mindset I went into. I didn't put too much pressure on myself either. Just give it a go, you know?
But so beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, like cost of inaction. I always say this with like myself when I'm making big decisions, but also women too. It's like, what is it going to cost you if you don't actually choose something different? Like, what is it actually going to lead to if you're going down that path? And it's like just the same thing and the same pattern and the same time versus like, of course, have trust. Love your human. Like I believe in soulmate, you know me. I'm like my soulmates, but like find a space, but then believe in yourself, believe in life, and see what the outcome is.
Exactly. And every experience is growth, you know? Every experience adds to your chapter. So, you know, there is only one way, and that's up.
Yeah. That's my girl who's like, I was in the slumps, couldn't come out of it. I'm like, yes, that's what we want to hear. The final thing I want to ask you, and maybe take a moment, like take a breath, feel into your body too. But I want you to imagine that there is another woman watching this, and she's kind of on the fence about if this is the right move for her, if this is what she should be doing.
Mm.
What would you honestly want to say directly to her? Yeah.
Mm. I would say if you came this far, if there was something pulling you, you're either watching this video or you've seen the post and you're feeling a pull, that's already a sign. I've learned through this process, with the universe, there's things that are popping up in front of you, and you may overlook them or you may ignore that gut feeling that you have, but don't, because those are signs that are leading you to the things that you actually desire, to the things that you actually want. And I think things happen for a reason. Honestly, that's what I truly believe. I was going through my lowest of the lows, and you were just popping up everywhere. And I mean, obviously we had met up before and that, but there was not that strong pull, and I was starting to feel there's something, and I was feeling a need to comment or like reach out to you. And that instinctive gut feeling, if you've come this far, I would just say follow through, because this is the path that you're supposed to go on. This is the path that's going to lead you to your higher self. I truly believe that.
So beautiful. And I'm like, fuck yes. My whole life, I always share it. I'm like, it's so powerful. I mean, there's different coaches, there's so much online these days, but like souls finding each other and going through a process, it's such a unique space. And I'm so, every time a woman comes into the space, I'm like, like it's God, it's the universe, it's souls like doing their magic. And ultimately, if I can share anything, like I just am so grateful that you shared your story and you've opened up like that whole path, because to me that's like what it's all about. Like the safety, the container, the holding, but for a woman to come from like absolutely like shelled in to being vibrant and alive and has her sparkle and is in her own zone. It's like, I don't even want that anymore. Like I'm in my, like that is literally fucking it. I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, from my side, just thank you so much for sharing everything, babe. It's been such a blessing having you give your story, really, truly.
No, honestly, I'm grateful. And I've honestly, the tools that I've learned and that I have, I'm going to honestly just continue pulling the through. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. So I'm honestly just, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you.
Oh, baby, we love you so much. And if anyone is watching this and you feel a resonance at all, there's always a link below to book in a call with me. A little bit like Annie did, just come explore, come get to know, and let's see how we can support you as well. Okay, Annie, my darling, I love you lots.
Love you, Em.